Hi everyone, it's Yasmin here. I hope you are all well. This week I'm speaking to you about label reading, and what I wanted to really bring you was a helpful guide to how you can positively read food labels in a way that's going to hopefully benefit you and help you rather than leave you feeling really confused. So if you are feeling lost when you're out and about in the supermarkets or behind your screen these days shopping, um, and if you are feeling lost when it comes to food labels and choosing products, then I totally get it and I understand why. There is the traffic light system. There's marketing claims that are on food products such as fat-free, no added sugar, and it really is easy to get confused. So it is the law in the UK for all products to have the nutritional values per 100 grams stated on the product packaging. However, I think it is really easy for people to get really hung up on the figures, and this can actually lead to a lot of the confusion and often lead people to, in fact, making maybe less healthy choices because they're just basing their choice on the numbers rather than looking at what the food actually is. So let's just strip back some of this and see what information I believe is really worth you looking at. So the first thing would be the ingredients list. Now, this is so important when it comes to nutrition because the most important thing is actually looking at what the food contains, because this will tell you, what you're actually consuming without looking at any numbers or tables. The ingredients list will tell you what is actually in your food. And this is like I said, the most valuable piece of information. You'll be able to see if there's any added ingredients in there, whereas just looking at the labels, you will not know that. So here is an example that demonstrates why this is so important to look at the ingredients list. A client of mine went into a supermarket last week and picked up a frozen smoothie mix that contained spinach, kale, apple, and mango, and nothing else. It was all chopped up, ready to use in a smoothie. Yet she was confused as the traffic light system label on the front had the sugars in amber or orange, which means that it's medium in sugar, and she told me that there was 7.9 grams of sugar per 100 grams of the product. So that might not have meant a lot to her. That's why she was checking. According to the label cut-off points for sugar, this would be considered medium in sugar. However, without looking at the ingredients list, you don't know whether that sugar is being added to the product or whether it's naturally occurring. So this is the really important piece of the puzzle, looking at the ingredients list, as it will tell you all of that information that you need to know. And in the case of the smoothie mix, the sugars are 100% coming from the natural fruits and vegetables. And in this case, I just told my client to not worry about the labels because she was worrying because it was, medium sugar, but actually it's just sugar that's coming from fruits and vegetables, which is very different from the sugar that we might add in the form of, a teaspoon of sugar or even honey. So I told her not to worry because the fruits and vegetables also contain fibre, which will slow the release of the sugar into her bloodstream. But also because they contain an array of different vitamins and minerals, and therefore all of those health benefits outweigh the natural sugar that it contains. And finally, ingredients will appear on the ingredients list in terms of weight or in order of weight. So if sugar is the first or the second ingredient on the list, then it is the most abundant or second most abundant ingredient in the product. So just a few things to bear in mind there. Next, I want you to consider looking at the fibre and the protein. So often we're told to look at labels and choose products that are not too high in sugar and in fat, but we don't really pay attention to other nutrients such as fibre and protein that are really important. So When it comes to fat and sugar, we're conditioned to always choose the lowest in fat, the lowest in sugar. But when it comes to fats, that might not really be that helpful because we know that fats, healthy fats, are really important to our health. But like I said, we hear there's very little information or little mention of food groups such as fibre and protein when it comes to the food labelling. So fibre intakes in the UK are generally low, with the average person just consuming about 18 or 19 grams of fibre per when we're supposed to be recommended to consume 30 grams of fibre per day. So, and I often see clients failing to meet their protein requirements too. In terms of protein, the average person is recommended to consume between 0.8 and 1 gram of protein per every kilo of body weight per day. So it will be slightly different for everyone. Therefore, to put a more positive spin on label reading for yourself and maybe make it a bit more of a constructive and helpful tool, you could always look at those two values first. So look at the amount of protein that it's giving you and look at the amount of fibre that it's giving you. And this is really helpful to also roughly calculate the amount that you are consuming in your diet. From there, you can then assess whether you maybe need to increase your fibre slightly, whether you need to increase your protein slightly too, and therefore look out for products or ways to improve these or include more of these in your diet. So next time you find yourself looking at labels and feeling completely lost, remember those three things to maybe do first. Look at the ingredients list, see what's actually in there. Look at the protein per serving, so how much protein are you getting from eating that, and then look at the fibre as well. And like I said, this method should make label reading a lot more meaningful and positive for yourself. Do let me know if you've got any questions, as I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.